Because when you also fly over Karamoja, you don't see money. You don't. When you fly over, when you go to Bukit nowadays, there's a change. Bukit, a very big change. You really see that we depend on iron sheets and these other things, the plantations around the homestead. But when you go to Karamoja, you wonder whether those people even eat. There's nothing outside. When you go to northern Uganda, nothing completely. But when you go to the other areas of Arua, you see another change. So, colleagues, we may sink as much money as possible if we don't work on the minds of those people. Civils have been stealing their pigs. And once they are taken to police, they are released on bond. So, and that makes our work quite difficult. And these thieves are come back to steal from others. So it is a vicious circle of thuggery. These thieves have money. They bribe their way from police. And to some extent, this one is crippling our performance. It's unacceptable.
But even the one who offers is bribing. So we arrested some people in Wakiso there who are trying to bribe parish chiefs to put them, yes, and we exposed them. We made sure we publicize it. But impatience is something about time. So security is a very big issue. This one I don't even need to say much, but we have tried as much as possible. His Excellency issued directives. He has brought back sub-county policing, the policing model, the community policing model, but also try to put police posts at every sub-county. And we are yet to see whether this will be very effective, but I think it will at least help curb out some of these criminalities.
From the young people, that some of them are not married, they live with their parents. So if a gentleman has received, or a lady, PDM money, and he has a son or a daughter who applies as a youth, now that youth will not receive, because they will say, oh, your mother received. Yet his mother is different from this youth. So there is that general complaint of the youth who don't have household numbers.
But if we open up, it will be opening up in a can of worms. Let us progress here slowly, and we see how it happens. Otherwise, you will find, for example, I'll give you, we had a problem in your sub-region because you live in communal the manyatas.
Yes.
So one was asking, what is the difference between a household and a homestead?
Yes, he promised this. Even on TV, I saw him in Kampala. He does not mean the threshold. He means the to increase from 100 the fund, not an individual. Because 1 million, according to him, is still enough. But in order for us to benefit as many people as possible, he said he will increase to 200. I remember him talking about this. Even in Bunyoro, he talked about this. He said, they said, but people are not, he said, no, we shall increase this fund to 200, depending on how government, depending on our economy.
Okay. So finally,
it did not mean to increase to 2 million. The fund, yes.
You can use like the UBOS data to identify the families that need to benefit without necessarily having a committee to say, I think you did benefit, I think you don't benefit, because the data from UBOS should qualify every household that this is at this level of economic status, so that you pick from that and then you get the number.
Go to northern Uganda, the fact is you don't see anything. Let the fact be told. What is the problem? So, Minister of Gender, you need to focus in areas of Karamoja, because when you also fly over Karamoja, you don't see money. You don't. When you fly over, when you go to Bukit nowadays, there's a change. Bukit, a very big change. You really see that we depend on iron sheets and these other things, the plantations around the homestead. But when you go to Karamoja, you wonder whether those people even eat. There's nothing outside. When you go to northern Uganda, nothing completely. But when you go to the other areas of Arua, you see another change. So, colleagues, we may sink as much money as possible. If we don't work on the minds of those people, nothing will happen. You have a very good.
The report which came from northern Uganda, I remember Honorable Mapenduzi was saying, many of the people in northern Uganda were saying PDM stands for personal drinking money. That's what he said in the parliament, that the PDM in full is personal. It could have come as a joke, but it's an issue which needs to be followed.
Let it be for northern Uganda, and we design for that region. Even if you bring Dr. Deep to, that money will not be seen on ground. Like he's saying, we need to have those people who have a bit excelled and use them as examples. So the process would be to identify them now, such that when we come, we now know where to start from. Because you may even fail to get, for example, I looked at Omoro when I was flying over. Omoro, you can fail to get an example in a sub-county. In Omoro.
In Uganda has received at least 300 million. Why I say at least is because there were some differences. It was not pro rata in the first financial year. We have reached over 2.8 million households that have accessed the PRF, with each at least receiving 1 million shillings to engage in production along the value chains. Right Honorable, His Excellency is very interested in creating the Parish Development Bank. Now, the government of Uganda, of course, has injected about 3.2 trillion, 3.3 trillion into the PDM circles since inception. This capitalization is going to continue like he has promised, His Excellency has promised. And with this grace period being 2 years, some of the beneficiaries have started repayment. And what convinced him was, we are trying to transform into a bank. One of the banking ethics and principles is that you have to insure the money. So that convinced him. And he said, okay, fine, let's try it out. He said he's going to write to you. But this next point of agriculture insurance is very, very critical. You have recently, not so long ago, Kakumiro was hit by swine flu, you remember. It was not good. And recently, I don't know which particular, I've forgotten which area was hit by hailstones. And so many plantations went down. So we have to take this agriculture insurance issue very seriously. In all the 18 sub-regions that His Excellency visited, there's some production going on. And Pigare, you will have a summary. There's a summary of that in the annex. Pigare is the leading income generating enterprise across the country. And as such, Pigare projects were the most funded at 13%, followed by coffee at 12.4% and poultry at 12.1%. And this was evident when we were moving across the country with His Excellency. We are very worried about overproduction. We are going to hit, and it has already happened, Right Honorable, in Masindi, and basically in Bunyoro, in your sub-region. The eggs and production of eggs, because they got involved a lot in poultry, it's hitting us bad, and the prices of eggs is falling. In Rubirizi, this was a particularly very interesting, where one Desiranta Tumusime borrowed, a 64-year-old borrowed 1 million shillings, invested it in Pigare. By the time we went there, she had already accumulated worth 5 million in just 8 months. The turnover of the profitability is quite high in the Pigare, and people are quite serious about it. They're turning around their lives. So the success stories across the parishes are there.